everybody was still printing off paper, filing it away, putting it in a box, paying for storage to keep this paper around.
As an example, on the digital work front, we no longer produce paper copies of anything. People can. We still have printers in the office. People can still print off things as they need, but the need to provide paper copies has completely evaporated. But it's a process that we implemented several years ago that our teams are now fully on board and working efficiently with.
Digital transformation can mean two different things. The first is it can mean a transformation of your enterprise and your organization into incorporating new tools and technologies to execute the work that you've been doing previously, but typically at reduced cost and faster schedule. The other kind of digital transformation is transforming a physical asset, so whether that's a paper-based documentation system, over into a digital asset. By doing so, it enables collaboration between different partners by having all that information in a single spot, and it really becomes a single source of truth rather than having documentation spread out everywhere. You've got it in one single location that can be leveraged by the enterprise.
Our goal is to keep all the engineers and designers on the same page throughout the project, and that can only happen when you're looking at the real-time information. So the thought is that if you can keep everybody engaged with the most current parts of the design, then less mistakes and more efficient sort of solutions come to light.
The biggest way that my individual work processes have changed is that I am now able to get the information I need when I am ready to look at it. I'm no longer relying on reporting cycles and for someone else to generate the data for me. I can go into our system and look up the information I need, and it's available, accurate, real-time, and up to date. There have been adjustments and growing pains for our teams to get used to these systems. Historically, our project leads had their own individual ways of tracking their progress on their project and forecasting for their teams. When we brought that into a centralized database model, we required everybody to change how they managed their teams and how they forecasted their time. That was a bit of a learning curve for everybody to get used to, but now all of our leads utilize our forecasting portal as an example, and that gives us access on a daily basis on who's assigned to what project and how much work they have forecasted in the weeks ahead.
At first, like any kind of change is a little bit of an adjustment, but I don't know. I got into it really quick because it was so efficient. So you got to switch your mind. You know, I went through school printing out reports, check printing them, hard copy with a red pen. And now you check print it on the screen. And you just got to shift your mind. Now I couldn't possibly go back to printing it out.
By having tools where, like I said, I'm literally typing something while somebody else is watching is, a big win in the fact where it's being done very quickly. Somebody can pick up the phone and be like, hey, I know you're doing this deliverable for me. I saw that you put that in there. Rather than me changing this, can you make these quick couple changes? No problem, because it's live.
We can see it in real time, which a lot of times you're not on there at the same time. Let's face it, it's a busy world. Everybody's doing their own thing. But sometimes you are on there at the same time. And there's been several occasions where somebody's commented on something and right away I'm like, no, blah, 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 for this reason. And they answer, well, what about this? And I'm like, okay, but what about this? And you kind of have a little bit of a conversation. And usually what happens, you end up picking up the phone and you discuss the issue right then and you can get it sorted out. And that's happened several times. So, you would never get that before in a squad check.
I find it's much easier to make decisions quickly and intelligently with the most recent information. So our goal is always, if we can have good information at hand, we're not waiting to make decisions and projects get executed much more quickly.
You can make it seamless for all of the stakeholders within your organization. Vista has spent 7 years and iteratively come up with better and better workflows to ensure that digital transformations go smoothly. And so that's one of the things that we pride ourselves in is when we do digital transformations for our clients, we don't just hand over a tool set for them to use. Instead, we work with them to develop workflows that works within their organization with the new tools that we've set up for them.